All right, here we go. OverDrive, off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app. Your home smart speaker up on TSN 4. Bryan Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
What's going on?
Finally started fighting back against the stupid comments in public.
Oh, yeah? People chirping you in public?
Oh.
What type of comment?
Just listen, like, you know that I like to engage, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like it, but I'm just at a point now where I have to call people out with stupid comments. I'm in Costco, and this little Geppetto comes over to me, and he goes, "Hey, O-Dog, your beard's white, huh?" And I go, what kind of stupid comment is that? I go, what do you want me to say back? Honestly, I go, I don't know you. What do you want me to say back to that? Yeah, man, it's really white. I'm like, I don't know. I finally, I had to say something because it was just, hey, your beard's really white, eh? And I go,
that's a guy that panicked in the moment.
Yeah, he was just
I can tell you.
why are you building in excuses for the Geppetto?
I'm explaining what happened. He saw, because no one expects to see you walking around, and he probably spotted you 2 aisles over. Who knows what you were up to?
Where you had the free samples.
Probably at the sample station.
Well, let me, before you keep going, I do look around at the grubby T-shirts because sometimes I just need a grubby T-shirt.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
And I don't want anybody coming around saying, hey, what are you doing looking at the grubby T-shirts?
That's a catch and release, right? You want to be in and out quick. You're in and out quick when you're in that. Everyone knows that aisle. It's a disaster in there by the end of the day. People have picked up stuff. Everything's unfolded. Everything's all over the place.
It's great clothes there for
It's a great
$8.
spot. Great spot. You got to get there. We've all been in that situation. What I'm saying is that guy spotted you, and he took a minute, and he said, how do I break the ice?
Exactly.
Now, I'm not suggesting it was a good icebreaker.
I know, but dude.
Why wouldn't you say, do you think the Leafs will win tonight?
There you go.
Move.
So you went from defending him, and then you stopped your own self and said, there was a way better avenue to go to than saying, hey, your beard's white, eh?
Yeah, I know that. I can't justify why he would go there.
Yeah.
But he overthought it and thought maybe you'd start cracking back at him.
The kicker is, this guy was 65 years old, and I should have said your whole hair is white. Like, everything's white on your head.
Just start roasting him at Costco?
I don't know. I just had to fight back a little bit, and I just said, man, I don't even know. Like, what kind of stupid comment is, yeah, it is white.
I know, but he's right. He's just trying to engage you and go, hey, but he probably should have said, hey, how you doing?
Well, now you're toast.
Yeah.
Because now it's everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Now Hayes is a fraud. Your beard is white. That is, you're going to hear people yelling that past you while they drive.
Whitey beard, or there's going to be some sort of...
That you're getting that out the window, off the lakeshore, downtown by the house.
Go ahead, people. You want one more white beard comment, it comes off.
Let's get this trending. Get it trending.
No, it's not. The Leafs are in the playoffs, and I decided to grow my playoff
I like
beard.
it. I think it's a good call.
If one more person comes out to me and they want it off and says... Because if they win tonight...
It doesn't mean it's negative.
No. If they win tonight, they go on to the next round. But I don't even care. One more person comes up and says, hey, Whitebeard, it's off. And, it could be a...
You got the Gandalf look right now.
You are a thin John Daly. Doesn't John Daly have
Daly does have that beard going.
Saw him...
He's had it for a while now, but yeah, you're right.
I saw him hit a ball off a beer can yesterday on Instagram.
That's his play, man. No shoes.
Yeah, no shoes.
Ripping darts.
Now, again, thin.
I thought he was going to say like a Clooney type.
Yeah, someone that's
thin John
I'm talking the white beard, though.
Yes, you got the white beard. You
do.
Have you seen Clooney decided to dye his hair? Yeah, he dyed his hair recently and did an interview. It's very off-putting. Like Jim Benning type.
Jet black.
Basically jet black. Because that guy's had salt and pepper.
It's got to be for a movie.
It's got to be for a movie.
Yeah,
I would assume it's got to be for a movie because he owned the salt and pepper.
Yes.
Like Clooney brought that into style.
And that's what I'm trying to go for.
You're pulling off a Clooney. Now he thinks it's more John Daly.
Dude,
which is way worse than the Costco guy.
Like, can you let people know that are watching on television what this man just compared me to post some kind of John Daly pic?
John Daly.
Which is important.
I was talking about the beard because the beard, it actually off-put me because I hadn't seen Daly in a bit, and all of a sudden he's got this Santa beard.
Yeah, he's rocking it. Yeah, he owns it, man.
He looks unhealthy and looks really tough.
Yeah.
But the beard, all I was pointing to is that's a famous person with a white beard.
Yes, I'm sure there's other examples you could use, but John Daly is a good one.
Santa? I don't
like
know.
that.
You tell me. Who is a famous white
Santa,
beard?
that's
Look at
better.
this guy.
There's the O-Dog on the panel tonight.
No, I didn't.
That's you for the
quiz.
quiz.
A thin.
That guy is so tired right there in that pick.
Yeah, he's been through the ringer, man.
I said
that one
thin
stings.
John Daly, not
Okay.
that guy right there.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of action to get to. We've got Game 5 tonight. We'll be talking about it extensively this afternoon. Mike Johnson coming up in studio at 5, confirm or deny later in the hour. We have some breaking news. It's official now. Rick Tocchet not returning in Vancouver. That is an issued statement from the Vancouver Canucks. Rick Tocchet has decided, I'm out of here. I'm not sticking around. That guy, last year he won the
Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year. Last year they won the West.
You just started the comment saying that is an issue that it's just an issue. That's a big issue. This coach has decided
I got to get out of here. That's how bad it is in Vancouver.
I like how someone leaked yesterday. He doesn't happy with the practice facility. There are so many other things down the line. You just look at what that roster has taken on. Like you said, they won the West. They were the best team in the West.
They had the most points last year.
Yeah, they had the most points. And Pettersson falls off a cliff. JT Miller's gone to New York to play for the Rangers. They brought in Hagel, who's not a bad player, but
he's not JT Miller. He's just a young.
It's just like everything went to hell in a handbag. Like it's gone.
And I can tell you what Vancouver Canuck fans are going to, because they're going to spiral out of control.
Dude, they're going to hate that guy's guts now.
Well, no, they're looking at this and thinking Quinn Hughes is gone. He's out.
That's the fear.
He's out because it has been well reported that Quinn Hughes and Rick Tocchet are very close. Rick Tocchet is Quinn Hughes' guy, and this would suggest to me Tocchet knows. It's like the Magic Johnson. He's not going to be here.
Yeah.
Like Quinn Hughes is like, I got a couple years left.
So you think Rick Tocchet did the Brian Windhorst?
Now, why would he do that? Yes,
he was pointing fingers, sitting on the beach in Vancouver.
I think this is terrifying if I'm a Vancouver Canuck fan. Terrifying.
If Rick Tocchet shows up as associate coach of the New Jersey Devils, now
watch yourself.
Yeah, watch yourself.
Sheldon Keefe, watch yourself. Yeah. But also,
if
Vancouver
you want to talk
Canuck
about
fans.
bottom row, bottom right, if Keefe is informed that Rick Tocchet's his new assistant, look out.
You might as well start making the trade right now. Like you might as well, if you're Jim Rutherford, just call Tom Fitzgerald up and say, let's work it out. Like I know we're jumping to a crazy conclusion.
Yeah,
I'm kind of joking, but I'm not really joking. And I'm telling you, if you're in Vancouver, this is where your head is going. That Rick Tocchet doesn't want to be there. It was a disastrous season. Elias Pettersson, who knows what he's going to turn into. Thatcher Demko, who knows if he's going to play again. Brock Besser's out of there. And Quinn Hughes may be looking at this and saying, I'm in the real estate business in New Jersey, and that's where I'm going in 2 years.
I bet you the one thing, though, Hayes, like if you can pick one thing, because if it was Sidney Crosby, that was the guy down the middle, he comes back. If it was anybody else that was kind of that automatic number one centerman, he's probably so concerned at what he's seen in the last. When he comes out and says stuff like the Pettersson stuff, where he was like, it was very concerning and the preparation needs to get better. That was probably the number one thing where he goes, I don't know if I want to get behind that guy. Mm-hmm. And I just don't want to do it. Well, I don't want to see what the hell happens 6 more months from now.
You want to be responsible for that guy's career.
There's so many things there to unpack because you laid out some of the stuff, the unfortunate things that went wrong on the ice. You've had Jim Rutherford come out and acknowledge we had a tire fire behind the scenes that we actually had to disperse. It took too long to disperse, and the season got lost by it. You've got the coach, the coach who won Coach of the Year, and he kept it all together the previous year. It fell apart this year, and he goes, I'm not coming back.
When does a coach ever leave?
Well, it's rare. Like, actually, we should research this. When is the last time a coach just threw in the towel and
I'm
said,
out of here?
I'm leaving.
Because they
George
want
Costanza.
to keep him.
I'm breaking up with you.
Yes.
You're not breaking up with
Rutherford is on the record. He was a week ago saying, we'd love to have him. We're hopefully going to work this out. And Rick Tocchet's like, I'm out of here. And you got to believe he's got another job. There's a lot of vacancies in the league. He's probably got his eyes on something. I can't imagine he's going to be out of the job for long.
Dude, I feel sick for the Vancouver Canucks.
I do too.
Because we talked about them
terrible.
not their philosophy, or they're saying that they must have said this year. It's like we can't have nice things. We just went from one gong show where it was like, Brucey was out there, and then they got rid of Brucey, and the team was a mess, and then they finally got things together. They become a quality team. He wins the Coach of the Year. And then all of a sudden, 1 year later, it's a gong show again.
It must be year.
Why do we deserve this? Why?
They don't. I mean, clearly, if you're a Canucks fan, you have all the right in the world to gripe and just look at the whole scenario and say, how did we get to this point? Rick Tocchet, he's out.
My dear friend, who is the biggest Vancouver Canucks fan. He lives the Vancouver Canucks, just writes 2 words. I'm out.
Yeah, done. Shoot deployment.
He's frustrated.
It's emotional,
now, he's been a guy that's been banging the drum, said they never did the proper rebuild. They should have. They went all in on this player instead of doing this. Like, he's always been banging that drum, but he loves Quinn Hughes, loves the situation, loves what went on last year. But he would always say, like, it's a thin, we could see it going off the cliff this way or this way. They kept it on the rails. Last year it went off the cliff, and he's pissed.
Well, you can't do that with Quinn Hughes.
No.
You can't go to Quinn Hughes and say, you got 2 years left, but for the record, we're tanking for Gavin McKenna. That's not going to work. So, yeah, it's a fork in the road in Vancouver, man, and it is an emotional powder keg that just continues to explode. I mean, every couple of days something else happens.
Right.
Someone pointing out that, I guess, Paul Maurice.
Yes.
But that one was, I think, I got to leave, but we kind of want you to leave scenario in Winnipeg. That kind of felt like they were okay with him leaving.
I agree.
And it worked out very well for Paul Maurice.
It worked out, but it was a weird, because what he left behind, Rick Bowness comes in and goes, hey, at the end of the year, he's calling people out, going, I don't like this, I don't like, something's wrong. Remember, what was Bowness's famous comment? Something about culture.
After the Vegas game, he carved some players, and then all of a sudden Wheeler was gone.
Yeah, like leadership or
Dubois
something like that.
was gone.
But it just, you're right, Paul Maurice, that's the only recent memory where it was like, okay, either mutual or like...
And Bill Belichick. According to Bill. According to Bill, it was mutual, right? According to Bill and his girlfriend, it was mutual. It was not a firing in New England.
I got caught down a rabbit hole last night.
Oh, man, I am into wild stuff with Bill Belichick.
This guy, I don't know. I mean,
apparently the CBS interview, there's 30 more minutes of footage that is some of the wildest stuff you've ever seen.
That's what it is.
Yeah, like his girlfriend stormed out and expected him to follow her.
And they were talking about football.
Yeah.
And she tried to interject and then stormed out.
And she looked back like, Bill, are you coming? And he's like, no, I'm not.
Well, they did confirm, and they couldn't confirm or deny if he followed her or not.
Right.
That was the one thing I read.
There will be some confirmation at some point.
God. That is, but you're right. Paul Maurice is a unique thing, and it went on and it worked out. But man, oh man, this Rick Tocchet thing, I feel bad for Vancouver. I feel bad. I mean, Rick Tocchet is going to land on his feet, but there's lots of good teams out there. We should put a list of what team would you pick if you're Mike Sullivan or Rick Tocchet? Those are 2 pretty darn good coaches that are available right now.
They're available, and you got to believe they're going to get jobs, relatively quickly, I would think, with all these vacancies. So anyway, we'll get into that later on. We've got a game tonight. I mean, this is the thing about what's going on. We got Game 5 tonight in Toronto, and I kind of like the approach of Craig Berube was asked about Joseph Woll today and the fact that he hasn't played, which is a weird question when you consider how well Stolarz has played. But he immediately jumped on it and said, I'm not even thinking about Joseph Woll. Like, I'm thinking of Stolarz and the fact that he's playing.
Right.
And that is the appropriate answer because you need
somebody
Stolarz.
Ask him about Woll?
Yeah, there was a question about the fact that Woll hasn't played in a while. Listen, if things go awry tonight, you don't want to put the cart before the horse, but if Stolarz struggles tonight, it's going to be a topic between Game 5 and 6. Yeah, is he running out of gas?
Right.
That's the question.
Yes.
Not is he capable of playing? We know he's capable of playing.
But he's just never done this.
Is he running out of gas?
Right.
Is going to be a question with Anthony
why
Stolarz.
wasn't the question asked of Ullmark after 2 games?
Because Ullmark's the guy. Because
Ullmark has actually played close to 50 games in a season.
I just think it's that point of the
31.
season, guys, where it's like you're the number 1 goalie. and you're going to be treated as such. It's like, if you want to bring in all these built-in excuses, I don't know. I just find it to be goofy, really.
But it stems from it's not Chief's problem. The question was asked to him, and he goes, not even thinking about it.
Yeah, he kind of swiped at it like I'm worried about Stolarz. He's
that's
our
the
guy.
biggest thing. And Stolarz he's their guy. Like right now, yes, things can change, injury, inconsistency. What you're trying to do if the Toronto Maple Leafs win one game right now. That's all your focus. We haven't even talked about that. That Florida series is insane. There's a bad hit every night. Like there's insanity going on.
I love that John Cooper said what he said after the game because he's frustrated and there's politicking. All the coaches are. But this happens every year, specifically in the first round.
Right.
And it takes away from, in my opinion, the greatness of the Stanley Cup playoffs, the unpredictability, the lead changes, the pace, the beautiful plays. And we all get caught up in this, myself included. I'm not pretending as if I don't play the game. But it's every night. It's like, well, what about this hit? Should it be a game? Should it be two games? And it's aggravating to me. It's a distraction because the games are great. Yeah. Like there were fun games last night. There's ebbs and flows. There's a lot to discuss in terms of who's actually going to win and who's going to lose.
But when you have major hits like that, you have no option but for it to be a topic.
I understand.
Like for a coach to be asked about it.
That's the thing. Like Brandon Hagel.
Well, and he's out tomorrow, and Cooper said that. He got out in front of it.
I think that's one of the worst ones yet. It's like a direct elbow to the head.
But is that a bigger story than the fact, I was going to start the show today. You came in yesterday, guns blazing, justified, demanding apologies towards Jerry Bettman, right? We got to apologize to Bettman because we were complaining about the seeding in the playoffs, and it's been spectacular. Again, justified. Playoffs have been great. Jonas Siegel deserves an apology.
To who? From who? From him?
Both of you.
Why? What did I
His
say?
Andrei Vasilevskiy take is 100% accurate.
No, it's not.
That Seth Jones goal last night was brutal.
Well, it was.
That's way bigger of a story.
Did Jonas say something today?
No, I'm saying that remember this year, he was like, Vasilevskiy, his playoff stats, not that great, and his numbers are brutal.
Yeah.
His numbers in the playoffs have been terrible. That's a bigger story than an Ekblad hit. The fact that Florida's up 3-1, the fact that Florida came back and stunned them last night and stole that game, the fact that Tampa now likely is going home, and, even this, I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, Vasilevskiy is a bigger story than if Brandon Hagel's going to play or not. If Vasilevsky's going to play the way he's been playing the last few years in the playoffs, it doesn't matter if Hagel's going to play.
Yeah,
particular goal.
So you
right
owe an
there.
apology.
No, I just want to tell you
Siegel.
one thing, and I'm the voice of reason on this show.
Jonas wouldn't know goaltending. He couldn't tell his ass from goaltending if he had his hand in his back pocket.
The stats speak for themselves. Vasilevskiy in the playoffs recently has not been good.
Look, I got to tell you something. I'm a known goalie hater.
Yes.
And on that Ekblad goal, you got two all-star players that have their head up their ass right at the blue line, and Gensel and Braden Point staring at the guy that filled in for the point position, and Ekblad's wide open in front of the net, banging in a rebound. Look at this.
Yes.
Gensel, Point. Where's the puck? Where's the puck?
Makes a smart play going cross
and good on
body
him.
like that.
And it's a bad rebound by Vasilevskiy, but he's trying to find it. He gets it, finds it right here. It goes by. You need to make that save or control the rebound.
Jonas would suggest it should have been stopped.
Jonas, again.
I love the way I sewer Mike Johnson. You
look
sewer
at this
Jonas.
goal, though. That's a brutal goal.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Watch who it redirects off the right skate of 27.
Okay. All right. I don't know what else to tell you.
27. McDonough.
That's McDonough.
And it hits his right skate and changes direction. So,
and sneaks through him. And listen, his stat, he's got, what does he have? An 884 save percentage, I believe.
Again, you got to look at context. That goal, that game-winning goal is not his fault. They scored 11 seconds after giving him a goal. How about win a draw, control the game, and get it back?
That would be great.
Veteran team.
It's 2-1.
It's a lazy argument from the host. What he's trying to do is go, it's the goalie's fault.
I think there's been some bad goaltending in the first round.
Dude, you got laser beams. Every time there's a loss, all you do is say the goalie stunk.
No, that's not true.
It is.
That's not true.
Your first. It's your go-to. And
I
it's a
said
lazy
you owe an
narrative.
apology to Jonas Siegel.
I don't know one.
Yes, you do.
Me and the guy who's up for the Vezina? That guy.
Good for him. So's Hellebuck. Has he been good?
No, he hasn't.
He's been awful.
But in the end, Like those guys are still, they deserve the credit that
I'm
they
not
deserve.
disputing that in the regular season. Of course they
Right.
do, but that doesn't mean that they just get a cloak of invisibility for the rest of time in the playoffs.
I have to rat you
Bob
out.
was great last night.
Here's to prove my point for you. This is how stupid you've been. In game 2, it was 1-0 Toronto, I think, and you were at the game or whatever, and you sent me and him a note, and you're like, I don't know about Allmark.
Allmark
man.
looks
Yes.
shaky.
You know why?
And you know what?
You know
he
why I
was
had the right to
dynamite
say
the
that?
rest of the game.
You know why I had the right to say
Dynamite
that?
the
You
rest
two
of
didn't? Who was in the building that night?
You.
Yes. I'm watching
We
them.
don't have eyes? I watched the
I'm
same
watching.
game.
You know what it's like in between whistles, in between.
I know,
was
dude,
interacting
but
with
the
people.
rest of that game, he was fantastic. And it was
Well, I
like,
wouldn't say it was fantastic.
You
He was
after
good.
one goal, you sent us a text. I don't know about Allmark not looking, and I was like, this guy in the
Because he was
first period
brutal
is
in game 1. It was a serious
Did not play
storyline.
well in game 1. There's no
You let him
argument.
off the hook game 1. Gives up 6 goals. You're like, nah, this one's not on him.
I was on him, but he was being contrarian on the panel. I was giving
I'm just
it to
calling
him.
it as I see it.
Listen.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, hasn't been good enough. Hasn't been good
Listen,
enough.
when your team is down 3-1,
And you guys didn't respond to that text, which I found hurtful.
because we didn't believe in it. We don't
Because you're not there.
I
I'm
removed
watching. I'm
myself
telling you.
from the game.
I'm watching him interact. I'm watching him. Go
Whether
back to
you're
the
in
bench,
your basement
watching
or
him
in
talk
the,
to the ref,
or in the building,
And I'll
it
be there
doesn't
tonight.
mean it can't be stupid.
what you didn't like, and I would. You remember he went and bought time
Yes.
at the bench.
and he was milking something over
There was
there.
milk. That's what you didn't like.
That's what I was referencing. I
Yeah.
texted you
You're like
right after
shaky
that.
or
Something's
something or
going on with
whatever.
this guy.
Yeah. And I didn't respond, but I was busy. That's what it was.
All right, no problem.
There
You
was
guys, I
nothing
don't. It's
against-
not- you don't have to.
I blew
you don't have to
past it. I'm
respond.
like, that's a stupid comment in the first period.
I forgot to respond.
Well, you're
I
watching
apologize.
commercials. I'm in the building.
No, you're right. And
I'm a journalist.
And,
I'm
and
in the
that's
building.
thing. Like,
reporting.
Laying eyes on it, sometimes you do pick up a little bit extra.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Should have responded. I apologize.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm glad.
but-
I'm glad you guys spoke your truth.
What
No
was
more.
my
No
truth?
more goaltending commentary for me.
Believe me, I want it because if it's warranted, it's warranted. Tampa Bay didn't lose last night because of Vasilevskiy. They lost because there was a lot of missed assignments. Yes, I didn't like the second goal. Bad rebound. The third goal, I didn't blame on him. That's a redirect and change direction. But their team didn't find an answer on Bobrovsky. They had power plays. They got unraveled. It's unfortunate, but that Hagel hit hurt them.
Yes, it
And I
did.
will say this Florida Panther team,
They're mean, man, and
They
they're
play
here to
for
play.
keeps.
And this is what is available to the Leafs. Now, again, you can't put the cart before the horse because they got to close.
Right.
You got to beat Ottawa first. But if you can get through Ottawa here, it's likely Florida's waiting for you. And what do they represent? They represent obviously a juggernaut.
Right.
You know, they're on the verge of possibly dynasty. I didn't think I'd see a team like with what Tampa represented for 3 or 4 years. I didn't think a team could come and compete with that anytime soon. Florida's on the verge of doing
right
that.
there.
They're right there. You could, like, if they go on a cup run and win one, you could make the argument that they've had a better run than what Tampa did for those 3 or 4 years. But Florida, the last time you won, the only time you've won in 20 years, you ran into Florida. Florida beat you in 5 games. That's 2 years ago. On top of that, Brad Marchand is now on that team. The face of the team that really represents horrors for you and nightmares for you. The Boston Bruins have supplied more nightmares for Maple Leaf fans than any other team.
and Florida
in the league.
beat them a couple years ago too.
And they're married together.
Right.
The face of the Bruins with the Panthers waiting for you in the second round. That's what you beg for. It's not going to be easy.
Like a
but if
double-headed boogeyman.
let me-
get through Ottawa, you beat that,
let me paint
then
a
you're
picture
really
for you.
dancing at that point.
Let me paint a picture for you. That's forearm shiver from Ekblad last night on Hagel. That's on William Nylander. And then the other hit, I thought
He's going to get suspended for
the
that.
Mikola. Well,
I thought that was way more dangerous.
I thought that was greasy.
Very
He
greasy.
squashed his head into the boards.
And he was in a very
and he knew what he was
compromising
doing. Like he
position.
literally, that Gergensons or whatever, he knew what he was doing. Like, hey, that's a hard hit.
Yes. That's a greasy, like
That
you
one,
talk
that
about
one, I'm
vulnerable.
telling you, that one could have went sideways for that Mikola and Gergensons, obviously. But you get a guy like that, that's
And,
bad news.
That was my point. Is like these are because the sun doesn't shine. Like we don't focus on that series as much. If that was a Canadian series, those hits are everywhere.
The
and
thing
those
is,
are
Florida's not going to stop playing like that.
No, but I
people
mean-
can complain and whine all you want. They're not going to stop.
But the point, Ekblad's going to. You think he's going to get a game? For
I
that?
think he'll get a game.
But that's a star
And
player.
I think it's worthy
And
of a
Hagel
game.
got a game for these are star players hitting
Yeah.
star players.
Well, that's what's
And-
coming.
I think it might be two. Might actually be 2.
This guy just served a 25-gamer for PEDs.
I thought about
care?
that.
I don't think they care.
I thought about that, though. Is that
20.
considered a repeat offender?
No, but I just think
I think it's.
I think the idea of the intentional elbow is something more than just interference.
Like a hockey play.
You know what I mean? That interference play when Hagel smashed Barkov, it was like that was interference. But this is also like a little elbow that just spices it up a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. No one's taught to hit like that. Like you're in the National Hockey League. You're. It's like a bushwhacker.
Dude, it was a forearm shiver. There's no other way to describe it.
Forearm shiver right to the jaw.
Some intensity.
Right to the jaw.
Yeah, it's worthy of a suspension for sure.
It is. I think he gets a game. I don't know if it's 2. It might be, if that's regular season, it might be more. It might be 3, whatever. But in the end,
and then he scores the goal. I mean, and he had the one pulled back.
Winner. Florida, I don't want to say they deserve to win because I thought Tampa played very well. But in the end, they win. The difference is 2 goals in 11 seconds.
It's crazy.
Bad rebound by the goalie, and then a redirect.
No, I don't. I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
You know me. I try to just tell the truth. I don't.
That's precisely what I do.
No, you have an angle for it, and go. We owe an apology to Jonas.
Well, I mean, I was forced
know.
into one yesterday for Bettman. I thought that was justified. I owe Peter DeBoer an apology.
You're damn right you
Well,
did.
I had him on the underpant cam.
But you also picked Dallas to win that series.
I did,
not?
so I'm covering. That's smart play.
I'll tell you
hedging
what.
my bets.
That Dallas team.
They looked great last night.
They looked great.
Wyatt Johnston was flying around.
Colorado didn't have their ace stuff either. They didn't have
that one, like you said, feels like it's going to go.
I think
probably
it goes
go
the distance,
7.
But who knows? I've been wrong. I keep telling you this.
Yeah,
I'm like, no problem. Tampa's going to tie it up. They fall apart.
Yep. I got to know better.
Colorado's going to be like, we shouldn't doubt Pete DeBoer ever.
I just found the text. Game starts 7:25, 7:46. Bryan Hayes, all marks in his head. Dude, the game started at 7:25.
Yeah, that's 20 minutes real time.
You sent that message at 7:46.
That's like 12, 14 minutes into the game.
Absolute feathers.
Did I write back?
The next message is me sending the goofy guy jogging, and I took a vid of it. There's no response to your message.
You got flushed?
I got
apologize.
Flushed, and I knew I got flushed because you guys don't want to hear the truth.
No,
that's what it is. You don't want to hear the truth.
Dude, you don't know how to break down hockey plays. We're NHL analysts, man.
You're
just looking, you're like, the goalie stinks. Let's go.
Well, that's a big part of it. A lot of times it's who played better in net. That's a fact.
Okay. There's just a lot of other elements. And I'm a goalie hater.
I've got to go back. The thing is going back through our text.
You see some stuff that's really uncalled for and unnecessary.
The guy farting into the microphone.
Oh, yeah. And who was that in relation to? Oh, that was Shedeur Sanders, I think. Which I was watching.
Calling Shedeur Sanders.
There was
the guy at Walmart.
Shedeur Sanders talk is still so prevalent on ESPN. I was watching First Take. They were debating today on if he'll start game 1. And I'm like, did we not learn anything?
No.
That this guy, there's a better chance he gets cut. I honestly believe that.
You think so?
The NFL just told you he's not a starter.
Yeah.
He went in the 5th round.
They drafted another guy ahead of him at quarterback.
Yes.
In the 3rd round, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not starting. I would be shocked if he started week 1. Like, we just went through this, and it's like, do you think he'll start week 1? Like, and there's like these debates over what could happen with this guy.
Maybe that's what organizations
He moves the
saying.
needle. I understand that.
We didn't want that circus in our organization. Like, if he's a good quarterback, what organization would you have circled and said he needs to be there?
Oof.
Like, if he was actually like, if his talent matched the hype, if he was Dion, like if he was Sanders.
Well, yeah,
Dion
I mean, that's. Then he's at that position. You're going first overall, and you're.
But what organizations like I need him? Is it Dallas?
Well, I mean, Dallas is crazy, but I think Tennessee needs a quarterback. They took one.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh needs a quarterback. Pittsburgh would be one. They've got stability. They just need a quarterback. That would be the one. That's where a lot of people looked at it and said, clearly the Steelers are going to take him. They're like, we're not doing it. Man. Anyway. All right, Mike Johnson coming up at 5 p.m. Johnny will be in studio. Confirm It Deny coming up. We got Game 5 tonight, Leafs Sens. We got the Oilers and Kings tonight, Game 5 out in L.A. We got the Jays at home with the Sox in town. Lots going on. More apologies. More apologies.
I owe Jonas an apology. I
Both
text
of
with
you
him
do.
quite a bit.
As
He's
you
a dear
should.
friend.
We love Jonas.
He's a dear friend, but he doesn't know goaltending from his back pocket and his ass.
Well, he called
thought
out,
that saying
he called
was
out
pretty
Vasilevskiy.
good,
I thought
wasn't
you hammered it too. It wasn't a. What was
a
the
tough
Chris
saying.
Farley one?
No, it wasn't.
We don't need to hear that.
The butcher's ass?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't give him that one.
All right.
You send me one goaltending message tonight,
You get one tonight.
I'll block your
You
ass.
get one tonight.
I'll
And
block
you know what
your
you're
ass.
also going to get? A full breakdown of everything.
Somebody put O's face into John Daly's.
All right, we'll break that down as well. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
I can neither confirm or deny that this is in fact a segment.
Austin trades Andrew Raycroft to Toronto in exchange for the rights to Tuukka Rask.
It's been my honor and a privilege to serve as the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey Club.
It's time for Confirm or Deny.
Do you regret giving all those gentlemen the no trades or no movement clauses?
Well, I can neither confirm or deny that.
I can't confirm or deny.
All right, confirm or deny. Based on tonight's action, among other things, throughout the league, there's a lot going on. Stanley Cup playoffs. The Jays are back home. People very excited. See the bats explode down at the Dome tonight.
I got to admit, man, I don't want to be like bad attitude toward. I don't want to be Hayes with goaltenders versus Jays.
Hey, I love goalies that play well.
Yeah,
I love goalies that play well.
it's true.
I don't like goalies that don't play well.
Okay. I think there's. I think what your problem is you blow by things that happen before it actually gets to the net.
Okay. You've got your read on all that? You're
saying,
watching it all?
I hate goalies. And for you to trump me and send messages 14 minutes after the game starts is insanity.
Well, I thought we'd get a little dialogue going for the game. Watching the game,
down.
what do you think?
I openly
that's
admit,
fine.
I think I was watching
I won't
the game
send
and I didn't
any more.
have my phone.
I'll talk
right
to
beside
Masters and CJ and focus on the game tonight.
Who do you sit beside? Those two?
Usually, last game it was, yeah. Korolnik was down there. We had a little dialogue going during the game. It's very enlightening, very fun stuff.
How
You
many
guys wouldn't
floaters from the
understand.
media just show up when it's playoff time?
Man, it's
I don't
packed
know.
up there.
It is
play.
packed. I mean, I'm one of them.
Yes.
Like, I'm not down there every single
But
game.
you're working. You're actually doing sports.
I'm down there for the game. Yes, I'm
Yes.
doing sports centers and Jay and stuff afterwards. That's where it gets awkward because I get down there late. The game's at 7. I'm going to miss the first few minutes, and I have a feeling I'm going to get down there, and there's not going to be a seat available for me.
You're going to be standing
And I
there
can
with
already picture
Batman.
looking around and being like, "Who's here? Okay, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do?" But whatever, that's the first world problem. We'll
Alumni
figure that out
box.
when. That's an
Call your
interesting-
boy Tux and see if he'll get you into the alumni box.
I
for a
should
little
send him a note. He's
chicken-
probably going to be down there tonight.
penne pesto.
Yeah, although I haven't.
You know
seen
my
him back
main
there.
man will take care of you down there.
I'll shoot him a text if I have to.
Really?
Just to pop in. It's very uncomfortable when you're not actually there with an alumni.
But you know some alumni in there.
I know. But
Mark Osborne, you can go say hi to
Ozzy could be in there. I've seen Ozzy in there. Yeah.
Lou Franceschetti, will he be
Lou's
in there?
down there. I've seen Lou a bunch down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always kicking around.
There's
talking
only
about
one
the
guy
Leafs.
you need to know, and that's your main man, Tyler. He
Yes.
will hook you up.
Tyler's the king. He is the man that runs the whole operation.
Might be able, I think you could probably do an alumni box, maybe drive by.
I might pop in and say hello.
We've got a growl on.
We'll
after
see what
the sack.
happens. I might pop in and say hello.
Yeah.
All right, confirm or deny. Craig Berube should shorten his bench tonight to really push for the win. Shorten the bench tonight.
I'm going to deny that. I think the recipe that's been tossed out or what he's been going with, it gives the team and their best players the best chance to win. And I think what it does, Hayes, is I think it takes pressure off of Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner and William Nylander, where they do have to have their moments in the game. But it's not like years past where it was, you guys need to go out there and grab the puck and go end to end, because it seems like that's what they tried to do. So it seems like their team game is better to help them have success, where it's like power plays. And if you do get in on the forecheck, you are the guys that have to make things happen. But if you just shorten the bench, then you're basically trying to lean back towards the idea of, yeah, you guys got to go get the puck and go end to end again. I'm going to deny it.
I'm confirming it, and here's why.
Uh-oh, two analysts Disagreeing. Two hockey analysts over
I'm
here.
giving my view, just like you gave your view,
Yes,
and I
and-
apologize for not getting back to you.
No, it's fine.
Here's
Don't
what
worry
I'll
about
say.
it.
You do whatever you can to win the game tonight. And if you see something, okay, let's take the fourth line out of it. Although the fourth line's played well. You see a lot of teams playing three lines. LA Kings playing three lines, okay? Played 4D the other day. What you're doing, I know, but this is an elimination game. If you feel like you can find your top players on home ice with matchups, maybe here's an extra shift for William Nylander. Let's find an extra shift for Mitch and Austin with somebody, with Pacioretty, or find Matthew Nyes an extra shift farther down.
Hey,
There's
I'm all
nothing
about
to save it for.
Yeah, I'm all about finding a guy a shift here or there, but just to.
Well, I don't.
That's shortening the bench, is it not?
Yes,
Is it not
yes, it is.
finding more ice time for
Yes.
players to give them an opportunity? If there is a dagger there, go and get it. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I feel like I could Fergie this because I would
both make good points.
Well, and I would confirm. I don't think you're starting the game with that intention necessarily. That this line's getting 6 minutes and that guy's going to play 25.
Right.
But if it's tight in the third, one way or the other, I'm closing the deal. So I would confirm it from that standpoint. If you're let's say they're up 3-2 in the third period, I'm trusting my best players and my leaders to bring it home, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because you do have to play the long game. And listen, I think there's an element of Berube's approach here where he is very consistent. He doesn't want to come off as panicky, and I don't think that's in his nature. I think if you do start changing the way you've been running your bench when you're up 3-1, I don't know what kind of message that sends. I think they do have visions of a long run. I think, you mentioned LA. I think they've been burned in the third period before. I think Minnesota's shortened their bench at times and maybe burned them in overtime the other night. So I think you look at Florida and Tampa in that series, and you can't think of that necessarily when you're in the moment. But the hope was that could go 7. Maybe you have your feet up for a while if you close it early. That's probably not going to happen now. Like if the Leafs win tonight and Florida wins tomorrow, the second round is going to start on Saturday probably. Yeah. Like it's going to come at you quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna confirm it that if it's within reach in the third period, you should do it.
Yeah.
And you got to trust your best players to bring it home.
And I would agree with, though, big picture, because you're spacing time, you're spacing guys out, and you're giving them the opportunity for that rhythm. All 4 lines, you trust, all of that type of stuff. I'm just saying in a vacuum, in a one-game scenario, you're treating this like it is a Game 7, treating it like, because there is an opportunity.
Can you do that? Can you do that?
Because what you're trying to do if you win tonight is give your players extra time. So if you find, find 2 or 3 minutes, which is a lot. Oh, you had 3 minutes to a guy, that's 4 or 5 shifts. It's a lot. It's recovery. But ultimately, if you get it done, they rest.
Well, and don't you think that's why Matthews hasn't been out on the ice the last couple of days? They've had extra time here because they played Saturday. It's no travel. Ottawa to Toronto. They were at home at midnight
That's
the
the
other
best
night.
thing about the playoffs. You hardly practice. It's like, just get out there for the game and go nuts.
I think it's I understand why. I think people are a little bit suspicious when it comes to him because of his season.
Well, that's why my radar went up 2 days off.
And I think that's understandable. But at the same time, who cares what any of these guys are doing when they're not playing the game?
That's true.
Just get to puck drop and be prepared to play. Yeah. And I don't think he has not, in my mind, looked as if he's lagging or he's lost a step due to injury.
It's available to anybody. I'm sure if Stevie Lorenz said, "You want me to play my best game?" It's just it's not on the ice. It's available. Nobody cares if you practice at this time of year.
Right. You're
basically
not
any
working
time of year.
you're not working on systems or anything out there. It's just
whatever you need to be at your best come game time is what you get. That's the way it goes.
Okay, confirm that Anthony Stolarz needs to be the best Maple Leaf tonight.
No, I'm going to go with 34. I'm going to go with 34. When I was a Moose, I read this quote. Okay. And the quote goes, "If nothing changes, nothing changes."
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Who told you that? Where'd you read that?
I was just, I'm being serious right now.
You read that in like the stall of a bathroom or something.
No, I was reading like motivational quotes, and I think maybe my trainer said it to me because we were talking about my body changing, diet changing, and he might have said, or I read it in one of those. I follow a bunch of motivational Twitter accounts
type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got
so
you.
one of the quotes was, "If nothing changes, nothing changes."
Right.
So with the team, they haven't had playoff success. So if nothing changes and one of these guys doesn't step up in one of these moments, you mentioned the record of what is it, 1-12?
1-12 in closeout.
1-12
for these
in
guys.
closeout games. Look at that board. Throw that board in the fire.
It's a disgusting board.
It's a disgusting,
an accurate one.
So if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Okay.
So I'm looking at one of these guys to take control of the
So
game.
what does that look like in your? Is that scoring? Like he's got to score a goal in order for you to walk away, and because that seems obvious.
You know what it is? It's making an impact in the outcome of the game. Because if you look at those two psychos out in Edmonton, 29 and 97 are all over the map when it comes to the outcome of the game for the positive for Edmonton. It's just they have the puck on their stick. It's Draisaitl in overtime. It's McDavid setting up plays. Impact in the game on the winning end of it. So if that means scoring a goal, if that means giving Mitch Marner a tap in, it's like
Your name's got to be on the game
when the games
sheet.
are this close, you're looking for separators. And the Maple Leaf separator in this series is they have elite talent that Ottawa doesn't necessarily have. So go ahead and that's what hasn't happened in the past. They haven't used it as a separator. That was a long-winded answer.
But it's a good answer. The difference for me, the overtime goal for Benoit. Matthews wins that draw. And he had a great
impact. See that?
Had a great game in the face-off circle.
Yep.
That game, I think it was like 13-4. I can't remember. I mean,
and he scored the go-ahead goal in the third period.
But it that game was a detail. It's like that. That's the impact. I'm going to deny. I don't think Stolar, because if the team plays well, all he has to be is good. Like he had game one, he made the saves that he outplayed Allmark. Mm-hmm. Game two, I think he was good. Like he didn't have to steal the game. You don't have to steal the game. You just can't. You can't allow that goal, the deflating, the timely goal. I didn't think he didn't have his A game last game, but he didn't have an F game. He just one couple trickle through him. He doesn't see the game-winning goal. Just that happened to Allmark the game before. He doesn't have to steal the game, so he doesn't have to be the best player on the ice. He just can't cost you.
Yeah, and I would deny it from that standpoint too. Now we have talked about in the past. Leafs getting to Game 7. In general, it's not the goalies that have been the issue in the past. It's not. Well, there have been games where it's like 5-4.
Right.
I think in 18 they lost like 7-4 or something like that, and Freddie didn't play well. But those are scenarios where you look at the goalie. He does have the ability to say, I don't care how everyone else plays for the most part. I'm closing the door tonight. We're going to win, and we're moving on. And ideally, though, you don't expect that. You don't need that. You certainly shouldn't expect that. Like, obviously, Ottawa is starving tonight. They have to be. They lose, they're out.
Right.
They are going to be a motivated group. If there was ever a scenario where a team was up 3-1 in a series where they would match that desperation, it's this Leaf team. And it's specifically their best players because of the history that they're trying to change.
Right.
And that's why I look at it. And I do think it's reasonable to look at Austin Matthews and say, yes, you got to score a goal tonight. Like, sure, you want to give 4 assists in a blowout, that would be great too. I'd accept that. He has 2 goals in his last 14 playoff games. That's not good enough for the best goal scorer in the world.
Yeah.
He's got to score. Yes, you got to also defend, win draws, kill penalties. There's a lot that goes into it. That's what Draisaitl's expected to do.
Right.
That's what McKinnon's expected to do. McDavid, everything that comes with it. Play 24 minutes, pick up your check, back check, neutral zone, puck retrieval, everything. But you also are more than capable of scoring goals and contributing offense.
In those 13 potential closeout games, do you know how many goals Mitch has?
0?
That's correct. 0.
I don't see Jonas writing about this stuff. Jonas.
I don't know why I brought Jonas into it.
Jonas.
I brought Jonas in.
He's one of my good friends.
We love Jonas.
It's a dear friend of mine too. But I didn't
realize it was going to lead to
Jonas really
such.
likes to get after Vasilevskiy. Why doesn't he get after Matthews and Marner?
Well, I'm sure he's written about that. It's a valid question.
I don't think so.
Maybe he hasn't.
Doogie, look for
Listen,
the
Vasilevskiy comment by Jonas was somewhat of a throwaway. That has led to great content.
Vasilevskiy comment,
I love
too.
it.
I coaxed him into that like 6 months ago because I said, Noodles isn't here. Let's go to town on some goalies. And that's when he teed off.
Yes, he did.
But that was 6 months ago.
And then he apologized near the end of the year.
He
when
did.
Well, he had a great year. Vasilevskiy had a great
did have a
season.
great year. But
Like,
he's
there's
down
a chance
3-1.
the 3 Vezina winners could be out in the first round.
Yes. Hellebuck, Kemper, Vasilevskiy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a mini Jerry's. How many get through to the second round? It's not even a mini Jerry. I guess it's you just
Plus
gotta
or
pick.
minus 1.5.
Oof. I'm under.
You're under, you say 1.
Well, I don't think Vasilevsky's going to do it. And
Kemper and or Hellebuck. I think Winnipeg wins tonight.
tomorrow they play
tomorrow. Yes, I'm on that panel.
I think the Kings are going to respond tonight.
They've played very well, man. Like they've let it get away from them, and they've made some mistakes that have cost them.
They were one get it out away from being up.
Yeah, and even in Game 3, they had a 4-3 lead going into the third period, I believe.
They did.
And then Jim Hiller, there's a lot to take out of that game, but still. Okay, we got more confirm or denies. We'll continue to sprinkle in. Mike Johnson will be in studio ahead of Game 5 tonight. Overdrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Somebody just sent a tweet saying you're Hayes Kuiper Jr. when it comes to goaltending.
I'll take that. Hayes Kuiper Jr.
Wow. He went off.
He did go off. He started yelling and screaming about how the NFL, they have no idea what they're doing.
I know, but
they have no idea how to evaluate anyone.
And he said that for years because I think John Elway pops up and a bunch of different quarterbacks. But when you have that position, like have you ever, in all of Bob McKenzie's work at a draft, do you think he gives a rat's ass who goes where? Never once.
Well,
he's never once said, I can't believe that guy didn't get drafted. He's like, well, this guy's a good player.
Listen,
and he might say, this guy's still on the board.
Yeah, Kuiper's a showman, though.
Yeah.
And Kuiper, in many ways, kind of built the draft. Like with his approach and his, yelling and screaming about things. That's how he made his career.
But don't you think he did a disservice to himself?
I thought this week in particular was very strange to, hang your hat on that to the extent where it's like, he's in the 5th round, man.
It's almost like
you
there
missed
was no sex appeal in the draft, so he had to just keep going back to that.
There's a part of me that kind of feels like that was a part, like, hey, we got nothing here. This draft isn't that great. There's not a lot going on.
I'm going to cause a stir.
Let's, it kind of saved the programming because it became such a compelling story.
That's true.
All right, Mike Johnson coming up in studio. Leafs and Sens Game 5 tonight. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.